Hey, what's up, my people? This is Dalton, spelled Dalton, coming at you. And this is a combination commentary as well as story time. Okay. As I stated earlier in my other videos, I lived in a lot of different states. Okay. But this video, I'm titling the Amber Geiger incident. Okay. And the reason for that is that a lot of people may not know that I lived in Texas when all that happened. Yes, I was living there. And when I was living in Texas, and it was about, I gotta say, it was maybe about mm, just before Trump was elected or just after. Okay. Things started to really ramp up. And I was walking down the street one day, broad daylight. I went and got me some Turkish chicken, mind my own business, walking home. And this will explain the climate that Texas has become and was becoming. I was walking on, taking my time, and this big red truck drives by. It's on crossing the street, and yeah, these two white guys in it, kind of cowboy rednecks, and they said some racial slurs, and it was this huge big red truck, and then they started throwing stuff at me. Yeah, broad daylight. Yep. And that was an example of how the climate begun. Now, I did tell you a little bit about my background. I have a Bachelor of Sciences in Crime Analysis, and I have a lot of other certificates and all that, but that shouldn't matter. I mean, whether I have a degree or not, human beings are human beings. So, the next incident, again, walking in broad daylight, and I'm just going to the Dollar General store around the corner. I get stopped by a police officer. And I could tell he was a rookie. He was a mixed guy. He was like half white, half Asian, you know. And, he was talking kind of rude, kind of getting on. And me having my degree, I already saw he missed some steps that he's supposed to have already done. It's the protocol. And he could decide to tell me that I fit the description. He says it was a community behind the Dollar General. There was an upper echelon Asian community. And he said that somebody got robbed in broad daylight. And basically, I found out what it was. Somebody in that community was doing some type of drug deal, and the brother just robbed him blind by gunpoint. He didn't want to say that. And so I asked him, I said, well, what is the description? And I lie to you not. He said, he's black and he had dark clothes on. Yeah. So, so this guy, he's like, okay, could you just put your book bag down and all this other stuff? So I could tell he was just getting kind of cocky. And I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, first of all, you missed some steps. I said, I have a Bachelor of Sciences in Crime Analysis, and I don't know if you knew it this, but you did miss some steps. So then the older cop, another cop came up driving up, and I think it was about 2 or 3 cops at that time. Yeah. So the older cop comes up there, he's talking to me, and he realized, oh my God, this rookie was just being gung ho. He just decided to pull up any black. So he's trying to smooth things over. And you could tell he's embarrassed. He's just the older cop. He was white, but he was seasoned. You could tell he was embarrassed and like, geez, thought this guy went through training. So eventually, everything, they say, oh, okay, it was misidentity and all this other stuff. You can go. I'm like, yeah, I know I can go home. I'm just like, okay. So that happened. So that's two so far. Okay, I want you to understand this is all in a short period of time. Again, about a month later, I'm walking to the store. I get stopped by the cops. They think I'm somebody I'm not. They tell me I fit the description. Yes, all this is happening. So oh, okay, sorry. We made a mistake. Let it go. So then, I'm already frustrated. And I had already planned on moving to a different apartment. And I was already kind of tired of Texas anyway. There's a lot of things going on in Texas that was happening that I was not kind of cool with. Okay. And I had worked security for over 10 years, in a lot of different states. But I worked a lot in Texas. Texas passed this thing called open carry. Now, if you don't know what open carry means, that means that you can, the civilian, us, can openly carry a 9 millimeter, 38, whatever. They can open carry. They can carry that out in the public like it's Wild Wild West. And if you know anything about Texas, Texas is the sells the most legal guns of any state in the United States. Texas is. And so they passed a law. Everything was open carry. Now, not is it just open carry. Like, I'm talking about you can get on a bus and then you'd be sitting by somebody with a 38. I did. I got on the bus and some guy came in with a 9 millimeter. Yeah, everybody on the bus can have a gun, like the open Wild Wild West. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of corporations don't know this. When they even try to build out in Texas, they don't do their research. Also, there's open carry on campuses. Yes, you heard me right. If you're 21 years old, you can openly carry a 38 on campus in Texas. Yeah. So it's not just open carry on the street, it's open carry on campus. Okay, but back to the story. I'm at home chilling out, and I see on the news, and I'm thinking, and I had to literally, honestly watch it 3 times. And when I did, I was just shocked. But if you know anything about Texas, a lot of states do, but Texas got some kind of really bad history with law enforcement, especially with racism. Okay. There was like a whole group of police that went to jail because they just targeted nothing but Latin and black people, and they found out. Okay. The FBI investigated and found out. It was like, and a lot of times it's a group within the whole group. Okay, it's not everybody. That's what people get wrong. They think it's all the police now. There's a lot of times it's like a little faction or group within a group but because they take advantage of the brotherhood that the police offers to cover themselves. Well, things were getting hot in Texas. Once that happened, I've seen it happen before in a lot of different states, but the way they did with her in Texas was unbelievable. First of all, they literally scrubbed the what they thought they did. That's why you don't see that much going on about her internet activities because they took some of their people, the police people, and they scrubbed her internet activity so uh, you couldn't see all the stuff that. But some of it was recovered, obviously, but not all of it. Yeah, they scrubbed it. I mean, you would have thought this was the CIA taking care of this. They scrubbed her activity. They put her. Nobody could find her. After a while, the police took her and they put her in a white area of Texas. This is predominantly upper echelon white area. The reason they did that because everybody was looking for her and they couldn't find her, but the police knew where she was. And the reason they did that because they wanted her to be tried in that area where it was mainly white people. So they actually had herself turn herself in. If you look at where she turned herself in, it's not Dallas. It's the upper echelon white area of Texas, and they did it on purpose because they were trying. Because a lot of times, wherever you turn yourself in, you're going to get tried. But the judges wasn't having that. Okay, and they act like she was Queen Elizabeth, man. The things they did for her, and even if you look at the trial will tell you in the trial, her supervisor, I mean, he's up there in the level. He even said, I don't see that she did anything wrong by killing an unarmed citizen. The people that, you have to understand, the people that wanted her to go to jail, it wasn't, a lot of people think, oh, it was just people of color. No, it wasn't just black people or Latin people. The fact that she opened fire on on a person in their own apartment, killing them, just didn't even announce herself. That scared not just black people, that scared white people and all the other colors in between. Okay, because if you could do it with one human being, you can do it to another. Your money, how much money you have, didn't matter. You had your door open, cops could come in and just blow you off the face of the earth. That scared a lot of people. And I'm telling you, the scrub job they did with her was unbelievable. I mean, they do it for other police officers. A lot of times you're gonna see it done more thoroughly with when it's a white police officer or convicted a white female police officer or something like that. But then you will with some people of color that's off in law enforcement, but they do it for them too. How do I know this? I've had relatives that were in law enforcement. So, but what they did with her was extreme. Okay. I mean, they covered her butt in ways that I have not seen in years. I mean, I'm talking years. So things were really getting hot in Texas. I mean, it was the talk of the day, and you could tell that it was going to be a riot. Okay, before the trial even begun, there was talks of riots. That if she gets off, we're going to burn the city down. Okay, white area, black area, didn't matter. People knew that. People knew that. You didn't hear about that, but it was going to happen. Okay, it was going to be like California. You know. Um, so what they did with her, they scraped all her stuff that she had on YouTube. Now they used to scrape this one picture uh, uh, where she was with her cousin and he was throwing up the KKK sign, and she was just sitting there just smiling with him. And Amber had already had a lot of fights and arguments with her upstairs neighbor. Most people don't know that. Noise complaints and all this other stuff that she put against him. So it wasn't like an unknown incident that of this person. It wasn't like, oh, I don't know who this person was. She put in a lot of noise, complaints, all this stuff against this guy. And what was so weird is that even that she had a combat med kit with her and never used it to save him. I mean, a combat med kit. That ain't no joke, man. But yeah, so you have to understand the climate because things were brewing up anyway. Because you had these little different factions, and it's still happening. But you had these little groups of races popping out. And it wasn't it was so strange because it wasn't just white races. Some of the Asian races was kind of trying to pop out and join some of the white race groups. It was weird. Uh, but so that climate. So even if that wasn't, you know, even if that incident didn't happen, something was about to happen. Okay, and more and more, these little groups were getting bolder and bolder. They were coming out of the woodworks. And I had been there in Texas so long that I was like, okay, I need some fresh air. I mean, I was feeling like I was suffocating. It would just get stuff, and eventually you get tired of the BS. But I was just like, okay, I just need some fresh air. That's one reason I moved because it was like Texas has a lot of good aspects, but also it has a lot of bad too. Okay, and let's not even talk about the border wars. Oh my God, that was brewing up at the same time. So you had a lot of crazy stuff going on at the same time that people don't know about. And I mean, they covered her butt. Okay, and then here's the weird part. Then they gave the case to the Texas Rangers. That never happens. That never happens. And then once the Texas Rangers started coming up, all of a sudden, these little different publicity stunts started coming out talking about, oh, we found weed in his apartment, you know, and stuff like that. They were just trying to do anything, to discredit this young man that was shot in cold blood and wasn't in no attempt to save his life was even given. Okay, even when you listen to her calls, this is a coldness. You listen to the calls; it's all about her. Now, what can I do to save him? And oh no, my job. Oh, I messed up. Oh, this is gonna cost me my job. Never was it. Okay, what else can I do to save this person? How can I give mouth to mouth? What can I do? It was never done like that, ever. And I think one of the reasons that she lost is because people just didn't like her. And it's not like a black and white thing. It's like a lot of people just didn't like her. They saw some type of like sociopathic type personality in her, which couldn't see beyond her own self and really didn't have the empathy to uh, care about even emotions. And if she could do it to one, she could do it to another. And people knew that. And the ability, because they knew that if she got off, the ability of any officer going in any place and shooting up somebody could happen. Because it did. I mean, he had a bowl of ice cream, dude, watching the game. Think about that. He had sit down, had a bowl of ice cream, watching the game, and somebody comes in and just blows him away in his own apartment. That could be anybody. Anybody's child, anybody's mom, dad, brother, just jumping on. Popeye's chicken. I don't care what color you are. Your favorite game's about to come on. Your door's cracked open by mistake. Somebody comes in. That's it. And a lot of people try to speculate a lot of different things. And when that young man hugged her, that was to me, that was a show of unconditional love that he was showing, and you could see it was. But you got to take in consideration that he's young. For those that have been going through this type of misery for years, and nothing really has ever been done about it, it's been so well covered up. Getting to that point of unconditional love, they have to go through a lot of layers of pain, even if they want to get there, because they've been through more, because they're older. And then she got 10 years. Okay, there's some guy right now. He served 20 years for a crime he didn't even do. I believe his name is Reed. Okay, they found out he was innocent. You got people now serving. They find out they're serving 15 years for something like they had 4 joints on them. She got 10 years. That's why a lot of people are upset about that. But okay, but that's my Amber Geiger incident. And that gives you a perspective on the climate, because it wasn't just what she did. Okay, I mean, it could have been an accident, but come on, I mean, there's a lot of details that she should have paid. She should have seen from the get go. You could have been drunk or high and seen those details, like big red carpet in front of your apartment, not seeing that, and you're stepping on it. Okay, it's like, what were you taking, man? That was some good stuff, But besides all that, though, so that was my incident with the climate change that was going on, and it's still going on in Texas, and things I went through, and that was, when she did that, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back, because there was stuff brewing already with the border wars in Texas and these little racial groups popping out and fanatics jumping out saying how proud they are and taking up Trump's side and being this and fanatics on the other sides too. You have fanatics that were ready to kill the other fanatics. Yeah. I mean, you had all that shit going on in Texas. So at the time, and it still is. So you have to understand the climate. Okay, that was and is, and then something was gonna pop, and that what happened with that incident was one of the things that popped. And that young man that got shot and killed, there was a witness. I believe, the first time they tried to get him to talk, he started to burst out in tears. And I believe he was genuinely sad because, one, he knew the brother that was shot and killed. And two, I honestly believe he was threatened. His life was threatened before he testified. And he knew if he was between a rock and a hard place, and he knew if he did the right thing, he was going to die, and he did. Okay? And as they always do, they're always going to say it was drive-by shooting, gang-related, race-related, same, black on black crime or some bull crap like that. It's an easy way out. But I think the tears that he had was genuine because he had to make a choice. Either he's going to lie or he's going to tell the truth. And if he tell the truth, one way or another, he knew he was dead. And they did kill him. Anyway, so that's my story, stuff I went through, and how it all, when that incident happened, how it was just like, bam, how it kind of blew up. So you get a little bit of taste of what was going on there. All right, and you could tell also, like I said, it's open carry state, so it wasn't gonna be a typical riot. Okay, in Texas, it wasn't gonna be just a place being burnt up, because once military, police, they could have came in, used started using gunfire, but it's open carry, so they were being fired at as well. And you would have had all out war right there. You see how serious it was? Anyway, I would like you to subscribe, share, and give me comments of your views, okay, on that whole entire incident. Um, Also, give me a thumbs up. If you argue, you can give me a thumbs down. Either way, you're cool with me. All right, now we'll talk to you soon. Peace.